Shakhar, great to have you with us. We're speaking today with Shankar Ramamurthy, Executive Deputy Chairman at ABD, all set for their upcoming IPO. Exciting times. Shakhar, first, let's just take a step back, understand why you're going in for the IPO. I understand that post this, the company is likely to be net debt free. So if you could just take us through the intricacies and what you're looking to achieve out of the fundraise.
Right. So, firstly, very nice talking to you. Thank you very much for having me on the show today. Going to the capital markets and doing an IPO is an exciting process, and at the same time, it's challenging. It's a lot of responsibility on everybody around, particularly company and particularly the senior managers and the shareholders. We are a private company at this point of time, and our shareholders believe that the time is right for us to go to the capital markets, to be a listed company for a variety of reasons. Number one, we think it's an exciting time in our country to embrace a larger number of embrace the growing economy of the country. And the best way to do that is to make yourself public. Now, obviously, when you do that, you do unlock value, which is what any entrepreneur wants to do. And our shareholders are no different from that. So that's the prerogative of the shareholders to unlock value. But two, to be genuinely a part of the growth story of the industry, I think it's very important to be a part of the larger universe, of the larger economy. And to do that, you have to be listed. And clearly, we have said in our DRHP that the one of the fundamental reasons we want to go to the capital markets is it will help us deleverage our business. We want to be net debt free, as you said. It gives us post that a lot of opportunities and a lot of ideas which we already have, which I'm perhaps not at liberty to share with you today, but this will help us energize and make investments in areas if you would like to grow the business further. And once we are listed, we also have the responsibility to keep ensuring that our shareholders' wealth is increased and improved, and we are a responsible citizen of the country.
Okay, so it is always a tricky time speaking pre-IPO because there are so many areas we can't venture into. But for those that are watching the segment, and it's called Know Your Company, Shakhar. So share with us as much as you can in terms of a little bit of context. Perhaps what your more prominent brands are, the kind of market share you have. Just to start off with what already is known, and then I'll try and probe you a bit more on what's coming next.
A fair question. So, Allied Blenders and Distillers as a company was started about 35 years ago by our chairman, Mr. Kishore Chhabria. Mr. Chhabria was associated with Shaw Wallace and Company before that, along with his brother, and he decided to form a company of his own and chart his own business plan. Our key success story over the last 3.5 decades, has been the brand Officer's Choice. Officer's Choice Whisky was launched in 1908 and is today the third largest whiskey in the world, which is a matter of pride for us. In fact, till a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, it was actually the largest selling whiskey in the world. Obviously, many things have happened in the India and the economy in the last 2-3 years, but we're very confident of bouncing back. So that's number one. Number two, we've built a successful portfolio of brands largely in the whiskey category because India is 65-70% a whiskey country within the spirits industry. We have a brand called Sterling Reserve, which is also incredibly successful, and it was launched only about 4-5 years ago. And it has a distinction of being recognized as the fastest growing whiskey in the world among millennial brands a few years ago by international publications. At this point of time, we have many ideas of adding to the portfolio. We have, as we speak, we have Officer's Choice, which is our flagship brand. We have Officer's Choice Blue, which is a slightly more refined version of Officer's Choice. We have Sterling Reserve in 2 variants. We call it B7 and B10. We have a premium brandy called Chiron. So it's a fairly diversified portfolio catering to the large segments of the Indian alcobev space. And we believe that, and I always say this to people, that there are obviously intrinsic advantages of a technology-led business, but the intrinsic advantage of our kind of, and I'd like to say of consumer business, is that this business is forever. Changes in technology are not going to make any change to consumer behavior. You still need to go to a bar, to a shop to consume our brands. So that's the advantage, the inherent advantage of a consumer business, whether it is Allied Blenders and Distillers, or whether it is Britannia or Cadbury's or anything which is in the consumer space, and that will grow.
No.
And Indian economy will grow. India is a growing country. Our economy will, in the medium to long term, will always have growth. There will be large number of people coming into the consuming class. And the other interesting fact about our business and about the alcohol business is, whilst a lot of the mind space and share of voice is on the super premium top end of the market,
Yeah.
people talk about these super premium gins and single
I was
malt
just gonna
whiskeys.
say, so the
Yeah,
market's changing and everyone's now getting
yeah.
into
So,
rum
but
and gin and
you're right,
wine.
Abba. What I'm saying is that's also true. That's also true.
Yes,
But the fact is, we are a very large country.
that's true.
And
Yeah,
larger
yeah,
number of people are those who coming into the consuming class. And I think that's where Allied Blenders and Distillers is in a sweet spot, because our flagship brand, Officer's Choice, is a premium IMFL, which cater what we call the mass premium segment, which caters to people who are coming into the consuming class. And more than half the country is that. We also have Sterling Reserve, and we have plans to more premium brands. And obviously, we will get into the super premium category too. But that's the beauty of India. India is not homogeneous in
no.
no way. Culturally, economically, socially, we're not homogeneous.
Mm,
And that is where the exciting play for ABD is. We are very strong and big in the entry level, in the mass premium segment. We
yeah.
have very exciting plans for the premium and super premium categories. And India is going to evolve in all levels. And
So
I
is
think
it?
that's
So I can see that you have a multi-pronged approach. On the mass level, I'm sure it's more of a volumes game. In on the premium level, would it be, um, more in terms of, would there be better margins that you're looking at? There's also increasing competition, I think, in that particular segment. How does that affect plans? I'm also just curious as you see how you see the landscape of the overall market changing.
fair question. I think in any business, volume and margin have to go together. You can't have only margin and no volume, because investments are dependent on having a certain scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, very clearly, when you play in the premium and super premium segment, in time, because initially there'll be a lot of upfront
Yeah.
investment, but in time, the intrinsic inherent margins will always be better. So a portfolio needs to have a balance. And to me, it's like any FMCG business. Even if you take a Unilever, there is a RIN and there is a Surf Excel Matic, somewhere along the way. So it's from a 10 rupees sticky to a 250 rupees a kilo. So everybody needs to have. You can have a Dove and you can have Sunsilk or whatever. So it's the same with the alcohol business. You have an Officer's Choice, you have a Sterling Reserve B10, can have a super premium scotch. So there is a market for everything. And the beauty of India and the attraction of India is that all segments of our economy are growing, albeit at different paces, and albeit the relative sizes. You can look at it as a glass half full or a glass half empty. You can say, oh my God, we could have been there. Yes, of course. Or we can say, but oh my God, we have so much as a country. So, and I'm not trying to be political here. I'm just trying to say that the way to look at business is to look at opportunities, not
Yeah.
to look at lost causes. And I think that's how we look at it. There are huge opportunities. And
So
yeah,
So
please.
tell me, post the fundraise, I mean, it's largely meant to be towards, pairing of debt. How much are you going to put towards, or is there going to be anything left, or is this going to, enable you then to focus on these opportunities that you're talking about?
We have said that we're looking to raise about 1,000 crores
Yeah.
for the company,
Hmm.
and about approximately 700 crores out of that will go into retiring debt. That
Okay.
will leave about 300 crores towards general corporate purposes,
Hmm.
which will be used for a variety of things which we have not firmed up, but
Okay.
it'll be to channelize more growth. It'll be to look at any opportunities which may come up. So it's we've got that corpus available to us.
And what is the 5-year game plan? I mean, the way you see the company growing. Now, I think you're not allowed to make forward-looking statements. I understand. Yeah. But let me rephrase that. Perhaps, larger vision really from where Allied Distillers has been in the Indian market, and with the very fast evolution of consumer behavior currently, in this particular subcontinent, what you envision the brand could, or the kind of space the brand could have in consumers' minds going forward.
Well, I can answer that. I know without giving you any forward-looking statements. Uh, I think not I think, and what we're committed to, and if you see our vision and mission, we want to be seen as a company which is admired for what we do, as a successful company, as a respected company, and to that I'd like to add that we'd like to be seen as an innovative company. We'd like to see consumers view us as a Indian company, be proud of the fact that we're an Indian company who have built successful brands which talk to them, which understand their needs. So it's a successful, innovative, responsible company which will be admired for all that. That's what we'd like to be, and we're there. And with further growth, with further investments, we will get there in a bigger scale.
So tell me, you mentioned the last 3, 4 years had been a little challenging. What are the kind of learnings from that period, Shekhar?
Fair question. I think as somebody said, you can never waste a good crisis, and huge learnings for the organization. Uh, I've been in ABD only for a year. I've spent many years of my life in UBL, but I've seen what it was in UBL. I can see it here, and with the benefit of hindsight and perspective, I would say the learnings are uh, two or three. One, an organization needs to always be ready for a crisis tomorrow. And when things are going fine, organizations tend to take their or eyes off the fact that a crisis can come. And COVID hit everybody. Very few were prepared for it. And those companies which have come out stronger are those who looked in and said, yes, we can do this and we'll get ahead. I would say business like hospitality and airlines were the most hit. But look at them today. They have bouncing back because they had the resilience. Same thing for us. And I think the other thing which we have learned is that an organization needs to be future ready. And when I say future ready, what I mean is that you need to have a pipeline of new brands. You need to have a vision of where you want to be, what investments you need to make. So you need to manage not just the today.
Yeah.
But this is a little bit almost like a management jargon. You manage the today and you manage the day after at the same time. I think those are it sounds very simple, but but the way to do it is to always have plans of what you're doing today for today and what you're doing today for the day after.
Got it.
And I think that's been a fundamental learning, and there will be challenges, there will be issues, and you should be prepared for it.
I'm curious. You talked about UB, and we know what happened there, and I'm just curious from a market standpoint, and I'm not sure I should be asking you this question. I should be asking the analyst this question. But what's the kind of appetite that there is for a company in the alcobev space? Are there any reservations? I mean, you must have been doing a lot of meetings with, stakeholders. Are there any major concerns, or what is the kind of reaction that you really got from them?
I think there's a lot of appetite.
There is.
And I think the appetite for alcobev is for a couple of reasons. There are not too many players in the business.
Exactly.
There are three or four significant players in spirits. There are 2 or 3 significant players in beer. And I don't want to talk about my previous company because that's not
of course,
appropriate. But there is appetite because it's one of the businesses, and it's a consumer business, which is for the future. It's always going to be there. There'll always be consistent growth. And a successful company is one which takes advantage of opportunities which are there and thinks ahead of the curve. And if you look at any successful company in a consumer space, we're not talking technology here. We're not talking disruptive technology. We're talking of companies, those that are successful, have thought about evolving consumer trends and needs and are prepared for it and are ready for it. And I think the analysts and the investor, more than investors, the analysts Understand that. Understand that this is a business which is forever. Will it grow? Will the stock grow 50, 60% year on year like Apple can grow? No, no,
Sure.
unlikely. But will the
Sure.
business consistently grow at a healthy rate? And I think an analyst and investor wants that.
Okay.
Analysts and investors don't want volatility. They want predictability.
Got it.
And
Nice.
I think that that's the key to this.
Yeah. Okay. So just a final note on the valuations or the pricing. I don't think it's out yet, but anything that we can expect or anything you're leaning towards in terms of
Not at A liberty to discuss that,
yeah.
and B it's all work in progress.
All right, Shekhar, thank you so much for joining us. Great chatting with you, and we look forward to the IPO. We'll of course be speaking to you then and discussing that further. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.